I hope you remember what we were discussing. So today I'm starting you on I started you rather on a very important topic, layered architecture. And like I was mentioning earlier, whatever layers today you are understanding, it won't happen that today itself you'll get a feel of it, a complete feel. Over time, you're going to get a feel. And most importantly, very similar layers you will be having in the next few days also. Of course, technology-wise, some things will change, but basic layers will remain the same. So start revising it in the bottoms-up manner. Which is the bottommost layer in the database application? Which is the lowermost layer? Bottommost layer. It's a database. So here, I'm solving one scenario in the theory session to keep your mind active. Or I mean, see, if you solve the same thing, then you are not learning anything. So that is when I'm going to discuss the content management system, the DAO layer which is required for that, and you'll be giving me all of that in the lab session. So going ahead, database tables, I'll supply. Now, what is the next layer you will build is the POJO layer, plain old Java object, which is also called as entities because it is representing database entities. Or like I said, have you heard about MVC architecture in your web programming technologies, model view controller? Have you heard about MVC in your web technologies? You are not. Okay. So some of you are saying yes, maybe. I don't know. So I'll discuss model view architecture, model view controller. So at that time, you'll see model is nothing but POJO. Or you can think of them as a domain classes. And database table will be represented by POJO class. Database table columns are nothing but your properties of that POJO, non-static, non-transient data members, state, attributes, and the row correspond to POJO class instance. Then you have DB utils to give you the database connectivity. Establish the database connection. And then we are mainly focusing today on data access object layer, or abbreviated as DAO layer. Some of them call it as DAL, data access layer, one and the same. So to separate specification from implementation, generally followed pattern is start with the interface, and that is where you declare the CRUD requirements, which could be insert employee details, remove employee details, or whatever. CRUD, all CRUD. And once you have identified those requirements, you start writing a DAO layer class. So today, whatever discussing today or the whole week, basically, this entire week, we are going to work in JDBC. So you'll have enough practice of it. So anytime you are having a JDBC based DAO layer, you will be creating in a separate package, of course, public package class. You will have to start with, it is object oriented. So first we start with data state members. So typically database connection, if you are using statements, prepared statements, callable statements, we declared. And now the data flow is very important. So this entire DAO layer will be managed by tester. So when I say it will be managed by tester, what I mean, tester is going to create the instance. Okay, let me rephrase my statement. See, what is it we want? We want to access, we want to get some selected employee details. But that we are going to write as one of the methods, and that to instance method. So before you can call the instance method, the instance has to be created. So typically we don't use your static methods. So here comes up the constructor. This constructor will be called by the tester how many times? Once, or the multiple times? It is exactly once, and that too in the initialization phase, right? Then, so tester right in the beginning launching phase, we'll write tester in 2 minutes. We will be creating a DAO instance. One singleton instance is sufficient. So at that time, the constructor gets called. And what is it we have written in the constructor? Get the connection, prepare the statements, and keep it ready. There's no statements actually, one statement, but soon we will expand. Now, okay, so the next thing. So your setup is done. Then client comes in. Client comes in means what? We'll have a scanner while true and while not exit. All those things we'll write in a minute. So then when the client sends a request, I want to see this selected employees. User will be here. User will be giving the department ID, begin date, end date. So using those inputs, who is going to call whose method? Tester is going to call the DAO layer method. This is where the CRUD method is called. So this is like a servicing phase. Client sends a request, you are servicing the request. So question I had asked you earlier, how many times you should be, how many times you can call this CRUD method? One time or multiple time? Can be called multiple times, servicing time. So suppose you have 10 clients sending you, let's say 10 requests. So 10 into 10, 100 times this can be called, that as per once per request in short. And towards the end of the application, before I go to the end of the application, now, so what is your tester going to send you for our current assignment? Department ID, begin date and end date. So this is where the inputs are sent. Now, what are you going to do with these inputs? You have to, you already have got a prepared statement. So you have to set in parameters. You open the code and you will see the same flow. So we are setting the in parameters in that CRUD method and executing the query. This is where the query hits the database via the JDBC driver and results are fetched. So what does an execute query return? A result set. But if you take this result set and send it as it is to the tester, who will have to invest? Who will have to do the result set processing? Obvious question. Who has to do the this thing? Tester. So that is not what we want. So think about what is a result set. It is nothing but a selected rows and columns, and individual row corresponds to POJO. So currently we are working in employee POJO. So in this requirement, are you going to get a result set consisting of one record, one row, or multiple rows? Single or multiple? Of course, multiple. So are we going to send a one particular employee POJO, array of POJOs, or collection? Of course, a collection. And the easiest, simplest collection, as I was explaining, you don't require a map here. So the easiest one is the list. So that is why we had populated the result set records while rst.next, and we had converted important statement. So I need to open the code. So here, observe carefully. Here, we had to create, see the thing. As a JDBC programmer, we had to create the empty array list. Array list can be replaced by linked list. I said that. And here we had to set the in parameters. And then most importantly, who had to do this? Object to relational mapping, meaning who had to extract the result set and convert it into Java object. Programmer, answer is JDBC developer. I'll repeat the statement again. I said we had to set the in parameters, we had to create an empty collection, and we had to also do the object to relational mapping. Actually, a database to object conversion. Important statement. So this is the exercise you have to do till you are in JDBC. Today I'm selling you JDBC. Today I'm discussing JDBC, of course. So all JDBC. But a week later, when I take you to Hibernate, you will see all of this replaced by a one-liner where Hibernate itself will talk to database and directly give you the list of POJOs. So as per the technology, the things will be simpler, not complicated. So focus today on JDBC. So here is where I've got a populated list of POJOs. And who is returning this list to whom? Our DAO layer is returning the list of populated POJOs to the tester. Is the data flow clear so far? Is everyone clear so far? So now let us write in 2 minutes the tester and test the whole ladder. So there are two options. You can write, we can write one single big tester with the switch case and all that, or you can write separate simple testers. So here, if you see the further sequence, so this was just what? We have entered the layered architecture and we are solving the first requirement. But after that, I'm going to show you the insertion, then there is a updation, there is a removal. So here, all CRUD basically. So switch casing, will write it in one so that I don't have to write the tester separately and copy paste the code. You understood what I'm saying? Okay. So now everyone knows how to write a simple tester, which has outer call. I mean, all the structure, you know. So let's write it together fast. SRC, tester, test, employee, CRUD. Okay. The basic skeleton code, repetitive code, you can write on your own. So, okay. Try with resources, a scanner. Yes. System.in. And here, now you will create single. You don't have to now think in database connection. All that we have hidden, abstracted it, encapsulated it in the DAO layer. So create single instance of create a DAO instance, let's say. So if you want interface reference pointing to implementation class, it is fine. Or you can simply go for employee DAO implementation. Employee DAO implementation. So this is your one time. I have not yet entered the while not exit types. But you know, you remember I was explaining earlier, this is unhandled checked exception in the constructor. So here let me add a catch-all to satisfy the compiler. This is your outer one. So this is what is the initialization phase of the application. This is going to be called exactly once. I have not yet written any while loop. So rest of the things I think you can manage. While not exit. And here you can have the options. First is retrieve, get employee details. We will add the other CRUD soon. Get is the easiest one. And let's say 10 is suppose exit something. And then you have inner case-wise try catch. Another one. The outer one I had to write because my DAO constructor had not handled the exception. That was the thing. And then you have the innermost as switch case. And here, case 1. True. But before you can really terminate, this is your destroy phase or the ending phase. Actually, the you'll know why I'm using this words init service destroy. Nothing but starting of your enterprise Java later. So this is your destroy as in shutdown termination phase. So should I directly close the terminate application or should we do the cleaning up of resources first? Everyone knows the answer. You have to clean up the resources. So you remember we have clean up database resources. And you don't have to do anything. We have written that method DAO.cleanup. So I think we have done with the what do you say, the repetitive code or boilerplate code. So I'll wait here. You finish. We just have to edit this. So here get employee details, selected employee details. You reach here and tell me. I can send you this much if you don't want to write this. Tester is going to be the easiest to write because we have done the bulk of logic in the DAO layer. We just have to call the method. Done, Yogesh? Very good. Okay, so now this tester, will you have to like think in database or will you only think about UI here whenever you are developing a tester? DAO implementation also? Okay, I'll send you. So you just have to think in UI because already we have talked about your this DAO implementation I had written already earlier. And I had sent this one, Nilesh, the whole project zip I had sent. So I don't know why you're asking once again. I had already sent before the break entire day 22.1 zip. Anyway, I've sent you again. So what is the question I was asking? Do you have to worry here about data access logic or UI or both or neither? Only UI. So here, what are the inputs? You know what your inputs are. You want to enter, you want to take from user department ID, the begin date and the end date. Only thing is the date has to be in a particular format. You remember date has got date dot value of and it requires year, month and day pattern. So user will give you all of that. Now tell me, once you accept the input, tester is going to call whose method or data access logic? Whose method tester will call? DAO's method. Absolutely. But it is a non-static method. So is the instance already created in the initialization phase? Yes. Can I call the method directly? Very much yes. So you can say DAO dot, what is that method? Get selected employee details. Now, tell me, how will you pass the department? Department ID is a string, sc dot next. Anytime you have white space, you know, next line. Now here, you have to do the parsing, date dot value of, local date I'm not using, I'm using sc dot next. Local date we will use, but in Hibernate. And here also, date dot value of sc dot next. Just a simple parsing. You got this? And you can say control 1, which is going to return you list of selected employees, something. Or okay, I'll say employee list. Now this part everyone knows. Is your list iterable? Yes. Do we know a higher order function for each to iterate over it? Yes again. So you just use that employee list dot for each. You don't have to even convert it to stream. You have a ready-made one. And you can pass your method reference there and print the contains. Don't throw any exception if the employee doesn't exist. Then you can just have a blank one. Right now we are not worrying about details. Just do the basic testing. Tell me, is the code clear? Like I always keep saying, typing is not the only thing. I want your clarity. I want your understanding. Is everyone clear so far? You let me know whenever you are done. And then we are just going to test it. Done? Okay. So then you can run this. Just check once. We have created the instance. Fine. We have got this. And we are cleaning up the DAO just before termination. Try running it. It's just a simple SQL query, but done in a layered manner. So suppose I say get employee details. So I think prod, suppose I say, okay, R&D is more, R&D and between some dates. You can test that much. You don't require 0 prefix here. And suppose I say 2020, something. And you should see the data. But as if you're observant, does this look good? Department ID, I mean showing nulls and all. Or okay, let me rephrase it. Why it is coming as null? Why these values such as address and the department IDs are coming as null? Yeah, toString, of course, Mohammed. That we know, that everyone knows. But why it is not coming as, why it is this? Okay. So, no, 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 no. All answers wrong. One of you I answered correctly. Guys, it's not such a difficult question. What is it you have lifted from the database? Have you lifted all the values from the database? You haven't. So all the other answers are wrong. Okay. So only one who said whatever we have tested is here. So naturally the other values are default. So either you can use in this case the getters, individual getters, or currently I'll say ignore this. Ignore this means you don't have to really worry about the null values. When I take you to web programming and when we are properly putting it in the response packet and all, we'll modify it. But if anyone says, no, I don't want to look at it, modify your toString and only return the values which you are actually displaying. And so now the real thing. So here, now if I say, can I execute the same query? Can I fire the same request again with different input parameters? Of course, yes. So one, now when I'm executing the query again, does the prepare statement has to be created once again? No, it is pre-pass, pre-compiled. So only thing is setting in parameters, executing query, and processing the result set. So for example, if I say this time different one, something. I've not checked actual data, but I hope something will be there. Yeah. So here I have got another employee whose details are this. Details are visible. So tell me, did you understand the servicing phase? Yes. Did you understand the advantage of a prepared statement over statement? Same prepared statement can be reused with different inputs, and the only thing which will happen is setting in parameter and executing the query. Tell me, is it working for all of you correctly? Yeah. Of course, you can do the null check. That's not the point, guys. You're not understanding the point. You modify the toString as you want, and you can keep all this. You can skip these fields. But that's a detail which I'm not ready to spend time on. So I said you can do it in 10 different ways. Do whatever you like. I'm going to ignore these null values. I'm not wasting time here. So if you terminate from the application, I hope you have written the SOP in that cleanup. And here, when I say employee DAO cleanup, we are closing all that prepared statement connection and not leaving any database resources open. So this is your first example of layered application. Is everyone understanding wise clear? Typing wise, I don't know, but understanding wise at least. Is everyone clear? Okay. So now you will see it is going to become so repetitive when we solve the next one. So we are solving the next requirement. All correct. Here. Have already broken it in steps. Okay, let's talk about it. Now this is a creation. I want to insert a record. Suppose new employee is getting hired, whose details I want to put it in the database. Okay, is the requirement clear? Insert employee details in the database. Everyone clear? Okay. So let us always develop it in a bottoms up manner. I've already given you the answer. Here, will you need to make any changes in the database? Do I have to go to the database layer and make any changes for this? Answer is no. Insertion of a record will happen automatically. So no changes in the database table. In Pojo, I've written all this, but you can check. So answer this question. Now, this time, who is going to create? Who is going to have the employee details? A tester. So in case 2, we will ask user, enter employee details. So take a look at this and tell me, which details are you going to accept? All of them? None of them, some of them, whatever. All. Guys, check this. You are missing the point, database point. When I have given the auto increment constraint, do you really have to insert the employee ID or will it get generated? Of course, it will get generated. So how can you say all and all the other things? And somebody was saying primary key, which is even worse. So all the details except employee ID, you are going to accept. Understood what I'm saying? So name, address, salary, department ID, joined it, everything will be taken from the user. Agreed? Understood? Okay. So now answer the simple question. So we are going to write a new method in the DAO layer. So suppose I write a method as store employee details or insert employee details. How many arguments will you need to pass to that method? I want to insert the employee record. How many arguments? So here the answer is 5. But this is a classroom table. Actual employee table may have 10 columns. So tell me, sending 5 arguments, 10 arguments is better, or encapsulating it in 1 is better? 1 or 10? Which one's better? 1. So can you tell me what will be the data type of the argument of that method? How will you encapsulate all of it? Of course, employee POJO reference. So guys, see the opposite process. Now, here we will create the POJO instance, employee POJO instance, and that will be passed as a DTO, data transfer object. In the DAO layer, of course, we'll have to write a new query. Which query will you use for insertion of a record? Dumb question, but still I'm asking. Insert query. Okay, so we'll create another PST. And once the query fires, you know which method for execution will you use? Execute query or execute update? Execute update. What will execute update return? This is a DML. So how many records are we inserting? 1. So it will return 1, and accordingly we will return the results. So the point is here that employee POJO can be used as a data transfer object. We will encapsulate all the details of the employee and pass it here. So now, once I say all this, tell me, do you want to make any changes, any modifications, any additions in employee POJO? So here, clue is constructor, not change. These are required. Don't say change. Add an overloaded constructor. The whole job of the constructor is to initialize as per requirement. So this is as per the specification. This is what we had used for that earlier requirement. So can I generate another overloaded constructor which has all the inputs except the employee ID? Yes. And that is what was a statement in my earlier one. Add the required argument constructor, everything except the employee ID. Understood the statement? Clear? Okay, generated then. Just do it one by one, step by step, so that you don't get confused. So here, generate constructor and deselect employee ID and keep the rest. Got it? Please don't do anything blindly. Understand the point and then do it. Done? So why I did not choose the employee ID? Because it is a auto increment constraint. By default, it will be inserted. I mean, incremented value will be added. Now read the next one. Which is the layer above the POJO? DAO layer. So here we start with the interface, and I just given you ready-made. So add employee details, insert employee details, and all these employee details are going to be encapsulated in the employee POJO, employee DTO. And then we will write the DAO implementation class together, which does the insertion of a record. Is the statement clear? Is the flow, are the steps clear? Okay, let's do it together now. So which is the next step now we have to do is DAO layer. So open the DAO interface. Everything starts with an interface. So add a method. It is all going to look very repetitive. So here, add, sorry. So add a method to insert new employee details. Okay. And typically, see, return type you can have any this. So typically for insert, update, delete, DMLs, we add a string message, employee details added successfully or failed or whatever. So return type can be a simple string. You can have insert employee details. And as I told you, instead of passing those 5 different parameters or later 10 different parameters for those columns, encapsulate it in the POJO, which is nothing but your employee. Okay. And again, we don't want to include, we don't want to handle exception. So throws SQL exception as always. Is the method declaration clear? That is how we designed this method. Is clear to all? Everyone is clear. Okay. So now only this thing is not sufficient. You have to implement it. Immediately you'll get a red cross here. So now first satisfy the compiler. So here, let that cleanup be towards the end. Everyone knows how to generate source, override implement method, and get this. I'll wait here till all of you sync up. All of you means whoever is writing. Just generate the dummy implementation. Blank implementation. So the interface method is ready and its implementation we are going to do. But I have questions for you. So tell me, when I want to insert the employee details, change or no change? You just have to tell me. Do you want to make any modifications in the state? No change. Wrong. Of course, you have to have Yash is right. You have to add an additional prepared statement. This PST1 is used for getting the employee details. How can I use the same thing for insertion? So guys, think before you answer. Add a new one, PST2. But that is having a null value. So I will write now the left-hand side and I want somebody to give me the RHS. Of course, I know cn dot prepare statement. So don't tell me that. Give me the query. Type the query, which you are going to type here. I'll wait for a minute. Give me the full answer. I want to see whether things are reaching you. Is the question clear? You're going to tell me what is it you are going to type here. Take your time. And don't tell me just insert query. I want the full query, please. Even those who are not coding along can write this much for me. I told you, Piyush, I'm not accepting any shortcuts. Are you going to pass only one question mark? One question mark is wrong. So let me see. 5 question marks is wrong, Yogesh. Your database table has 6 columns. Out of that, 5 is going to come from user, agreed. But what about the 6th one? You're almost there, Yogesh. Yes. Yes is right. So the first one is default. It is going to be generated by default in an auto increment manner. So start doing it. Insert into my employee. You can always say columns, okay, column names and all, but let's not do that. Directly say values. I said you could have taken the column and column names and all that. I'm making it simpler. So the first one, so this is your syntax. So the first one, as you said, is going to have a default value. I had shown you all this in that my SQL samples, and you must be knowing this already. And now, how many in parameters you are going to have? How many? Those will be question marks. So 5 of them, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Have I done it correctly? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes. Are you clear with the SQL in parameters? One is by default generated. Rest all are coming from the client. So this does it. Got it? Now, so your prepared PST1 and PST2 will be available right at the application launching time, initialization phase. This we have already done, so don't even look at there. Tell me, change or no change? Of course, the answer is change. What change? What else? Connection wrong. PST2 also you have to close. So just copy this. By the end of the day, today itself I'm saying, if you spend enough time, you will feel all comfortable in JDBC. Once you have understand the layered architecture and the DAO layer, things become things become kind of repetitive. So PST2 close. Understanding this totally? So the only smartness only changes in the CRUD method. So let's come to the CRUD method. You tell me. Close the prepared statement which you have created newly. Now here tell me, can I execute the query directly or do you have to set the in parameters first? Are there any in parameters to the query? Yes. So first thing is set in type of parameters. You know the syntax. So PST2 dot, this is a PST2. So now start, I'll keep I hate making such mistakes because it is time killer. So don't rely on your memory. Use simple techniques so that you will not make a mistake. Okay, so start. PST2 dot. Now I think you have a clarity. Set string. What should be the question mark? What should be the parameter position? 0 or 1 or 2? Answer is 1. You are very right. Default is not counted. You start counting from the placeholder positions. They are called as parameter positions. So 1. And how do I get the name? You can't access it directly. That is why we have generated all the getters. So get name, employee's name is injected. Now I think you can manage on your own. Next one is the address. It is repetitive. Next one is the salary. Three. Salary. Then is the department ID. String. State 1. String. Department ID is which position we have reached? 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is not a column position, guys. This is that question mark position, parameter position. Keep track of that. Get, what was that? Department ID. The last one is date. Set date, parameter position 5 and the join date. Okay. So this finishes setting up of in parameters. Finish it. If I make a mistake, shout. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And name, address, salary, department, ID, join date. I think I'm correct. Yeah. Understanding it perfectly, those who are not coding along. Understanding focus is important. Like I said, I don't care if you don't code along or not. Okay, so now tell me. Now you have to execute the query. But it is the insert query. Insert is a DML. So which is the method we are going to use? We are going to use the execute update. So I'll say this method of prepared statement, which is public int execute update. And here goes the, oh, sorry. What is it I'm saying? Your query is already gone. Pre-pass, pre-compiled. Only this much. Throws SQL exception. Okay, so let's do that. You don't require any result set at all. How can there be a result set associated with the insert query? So it is update count, and all you have, this is easier, pst2 dot execute update. So now if you just take the cursor over the method, you'll understand executes the SQL statement in the PST, which must be either DML or a DDL, both this, and what it returns is the row count for a DML. So answer me, what is the, why we start with 1? In database, Kunal, have you done DBT? So in databases, row numbers and column numbers, do they start with 0 or do they start with 1? In databases, quickly, it's 1. That is the why. That is why. So the column position is at 1. You are again mix up. Here, am I accepting this one, Kunal? Am I accepting the employee ID from user or am I generating it by default? No. So then why is the confusion? What is the corresponding number for the first question mark? 1. And what is it you are going to accept for the first position? ID or name? Okay. So where were we? Right. So what is the expected value? How many records you expect to be inserted at this point? Single or multiple? We are just doing the, we are not doing here batch insertion. So just check if update count equal to 1. I can send a message saying return employee details inserted successfully. Otherwise, you can say if it comes here, that means something is wrong. Either you have a SQL exception or this message, employee details insertion field. You can improvise on this error messages and all this. Here, if you want, you can throw the exception also. But since this is just a basic DAO layer, I'm not doing any throwing exception. Later, we can add on. So this completes your DAO layer. Now you just have to test it with a tester. I'll send it to you in case anyone needs it. So recap quickly. I mean, recap means re-understand quickly. We started by adding a new functionality, insertion via prepared segment 2. This was your insert query. Since the employee ID is a auto increment, the constant I have used is auto increment. You don't have to pass the value. So the first value is default generated. And these are the actual in parameters, starting with the position 1 to 5. We have cleaned up the DAO, including closing of the prepared statement. Then we are inserting, we are setting all these values of those question mark placeholder position counted from 1 to n, from left to right. And since it is a DML, we are not using execute query only for result set. So this, and if the update count is 1, we are having that proper success message, otherwise the error message. Clear or lost? Everyone else? Again, I'm saying at the cost of boring you, don't be only after typing. Forget typing. You can just sit back and understand the whole thing. Now, you have to modify the tester. You just want to write a simple test case. So now let us add another option. Insert employee details. It's all growable, extensible code, right? And here let us add the case 2. Okay, and here enter employee details, and user doesn't know which is the order, so always write a user friendly code, otherwise you yourself will suffer. So this is what I'm not removing those pipes and all, but the date has to be given in the format year, month and day. So tester is going to be really easy because the bulk of the things we have done it in the DAO layer. So I just have to call a method. That method is returning me the message. So I'm putting it in SOP. Who has to call whose method? Tester has to call the DAO layer method. So DAO dot, which method? Insert employee details. And either you can create employee object in 2 lines, or I can inline new employee. Which constructor? First is default. Second is those 4 arguments. The third one is the one which has all except the employee ID. So now start. So this is your good old scanner. At this point, if you are accepting first name, last name as 2 columns, you know, you can do separately. Then is the address. Not next. Then is the salary. And then you have a department ID. And then you have the date. Date dot value of and sc dot next. Okay. I think we are done here. Check. So once you have separated data access logic completely, the JDBC code in the DAO layer, look at this tester looks so clean, so easy, because you have pushed all the data access logic in a separate class. And I think we are done. Let's run this. So is there any constraint here? No. So let's add the thing. So let's say suppose name, address, salary, department ID, join date. Let's say something. Year, month, and day. So 4th of March, maybe 2022, something like that. It says employee details inserted. Of course, you can't trust it so blindly. So do check it. And as you can see, auto incremented. You remember? So it had 5 as this. So auto incremented employee ID and a record got inserted. I'm waiting for you to test it. Do test it and tell me. And of course, if you say get employee details, a month, 31st. I messed it up. I'm just checking whether my other query is also working fine. Is it showing me his detail? Yes. So tested, guys. Is it working fine? The insertion of a record? Okay. So I hope you are finding it repetitive and easy. So I'll send you the tester also in case anyone wants it. You let me know if you have finished. Anyone wants me to wait? Anyone is in the middle of typing or anything? You have completed it, right? And like I said, completed is not important. Understood it completely. Understanding part is clear. Because you're going to have an assignment and not on the employee scenario in that content management system scenario. Okay. So now let us solve the updation. So suppose I'll give you the question. Yes, of course, it is necessary to clean up. What a question this one, Nilesh. You should little bit think before asking such questions. Can you keep the database resources open, database connection open, even after the application is closed? Answer that. Asking a question, respond. Of course not. So that answers your query. Of course, it is cleanup extremely important. Otherwise, your database connections will only keep on getting open, nobody to close them. And one fine point, it will refuse to give you a new connection. So of course, answer to question is yes. Okay, so answer my next ones. I want to update employee salary. And maybe, okay, let me say this. I want to transfer the employee from one department to another department with some salary increment. I want to give him a promotion and transfer it to some other department. You understood the requirement? So tell me, CRUD, create, retrieve, update, or delete. Which functionality are we talking about? Everyone understands it, update. So now I'll start asking you questions. We are going to develop it in a bottoms-up manner. Any change in database? Do you want to make any changes in the database? Table? No. Any changes in the POJO? We'll see if there are any constructor additional required and all, but mostly no. Now tell me the real question, real answer. Will you need to add anything in the DAO interface? DAO layer? Of course, yes. You will have to add a updation method. Okay. So let us take, so we'll just discuss the whole thing and then we'll write it. So you can write it parallelly also. So we will add a DAO interface updation kind of a method. And then we will write the implementation. So for implementation, okay, let's do this much. Otherwise, too much will be piling up. Let's focus on writing the interface method. So please open the interface. I employed DAO. And this is the easiest. CRUD operations are the easiest. When you start applying the business logic, then the things become really interesting. But first you have to survive the CRUD. So add a method to update employees, department, and salary. Okay. So I'll give you the return type. Let's have a simple message. Employee details updated or updation failed, success or a failure. And here I'm saying update employee details. Anyone wants to tell me, and throw SQL exception is a part of it because it is a checked exception. So now anyone wants to tell me what will be the input arguments? What will be the input you'll require? I got the answer as salary and department ID. Is that it only? Yes. So salary and department ID, but for which employee? So what is L? What else you'll have to pass? The employee ID also, isn't it? I'm not updating all. I'm updating a particular this. So naturally it will be in employee ID, then the salary increment. Suppose he's earning 10,000. I give the salary increment of 1,000. It becomes 11,000 that way. Salary increment. I'm not giving the new salary. I'm giving the increment. And what else we said? Department ID. So this we are changing. The new department, I can say. Everyone clear? Whose details we want to update? So salary increment and the value of the new department. Good so far? Clear so far? Let's start writing the implementation. So again, you will have compiler error. So first generate the empty method. Source, override implement, keep it. We'll come to that in a minute. We do it in a very systematic manner. Advanced Java is all about, core Java is also about systematic, but this is more systematic, I'll say. Tell me, formal layers and all. Change or no change? Employee ID is not a string. It is an integer. Avinash, check it. Of course, a change. PST3. Okay. So as usual, I'll write the PST3. And I know it is a cn.prepare statement. Just give me the query, okay? I'll check. Employee ID is integer, I guess. Yeah, it isn't. Avinash, check your input first. Here. You're writing an update query, of course. It's all. CRUD is, like I said, easiest. Update my employee, set salary equal to this, department ID equal to this, where employer is equal to this. Yes, Piyush, right. I'm not checked all the answers. I checked one of them, but I am sure you can manage that. So update table name, my employee, set, what is it? Salary is equal to salary plus increment. That increment is going to come from user and DPT ID, right? Yes, and DPT ID equal to new department ID, where employee ID, yes, EMP ID equal to question mark. So how many in parameters are we having in this query? Yes, 3. And what are the positions? 1, salary increment, 2, department ID, and third one is employee ID. So don't get confused in the numbers. So let us finish it. Oh, sorry. Before that, we always, I at least forget all such things. So let me close the PST3. And finally, you can write it. So what should I do first? Can I execute the query directly, or are there any in parameters to be set? Everyone knows the answer. You have to set the in parameters. Correct? So what is it we have? PST3 dot. Okay, which in parameters they are in front of you? PST3 dot. Now set. Which is the first one we said? Salary increment, department, and employee. Okay. You can have it in any order, but numbers cannot change. So salary increment, which is set double. First one, salary increment done. Then is the new department. Department is string. Question mark 2, new department. And the last one is the employee ID, which is int, not string. Parameter position is 3 and the employee ID. Okay. So we have injected, set the in parameters. Understanding the numbers and their positions, I'll repeat. The parameter positions start from 1 onwards, left to right or right to left, left to right. So just be careful. I'm telling you from experience of so many years. Maximum time you make mistakes in counting and then your code doesn't work. So, just be careful. This is your 1, salary increment, department ID, and the third one is your employee ID. So I hope I have not made a mess. Now again, this you can copy now. I'm not writing it again because it is so same. Some things will change. Insertion is replaced by updation. If you want to give yourself more practice, definitely write it again. Employee details updated or employee details updation failed. I'll wait here till you complete. Gives you time to absorb things, not just type. Understand and write, or simply understand. It is all repetitive. JDBC is full repetitive. Done? Good, Girish. I hope who are not writing are still understanding and not feeling lost. If you don't understand a particular line, tell me the line number, I can explain. So you have managed it. Fine. Now, you just have to call it from the tester and check whether whatever we have done is correct or not. So the third one is update my details. Okay. And here, take the new values from user. Enter. Now I'll follow this employee ID, salary increment. I'll just take this. Guys, use such tricks which I'm using. Otherwise, you make a mess in the sequence and then you suffer a lot. And then you wonder why my code is not working. So when you have such things, why not? Why struggle? So ID, salary increment of new department. And then I just have to call a method Now dot update employee ID SC dot next salary increment next level and the department ID next. Okay, and we'll see working or not working. Understanding? We see the test has become so thin, so clean, because the bulk of the logic, the complete data access logic is nicely separated in a DAO layer. So test it now. So suppose you make a mess, means suppose I give the employee ID. I don't have an employee ID 1, 2, 3. Salary increment doesn't matter now. New department doesn't matter. You can see that there was no employee record with that employee ID. So update count did not return me 1, it returned me 0. There are no records which are updated. So accordingly, I'm giving the error message. And as you can see, there won't be any change in the database. So now if you give the correct ones, suppose I take something, latest started, anything you can say. Suppose I say Mita, anyone. So 5, salary increment 1000, and the new department, let's say HR. I don't have an enum and also I can give anything. It says details updated. Check it out. And I can see her details. This 21,000 was 22,000, and the new department, right? So just check it once with the wrong employee ID and once with the correct one, and tell me, Gaurav, it is testing. Very good. It's working fine. Very good, guys. So finding it manageable, comfortable, the first topic. This one, okay, I'll send you. I'll show you the tester also, and I'll send you also a visit. Employee tester here. This is that latest case. Got it? Good. Most welcome. So, are you finding it manageable, guys, JDBC? Understanding it? See, you require practice. I totally agree. It is not like you'll start remembering the APIs. First few days, yes. But over the time, you'll automatically get it. I mean, you'll start remembering the API also. And like I told you, I'm telling you ahead of time. Today, definitely after doing 1 hour revision, 1 hour revision I feel is sufficient for JDBC. Even for those who have not typed anything, you're definitely going to solve a fresh scenario with me. Okay, so that's content management system basically. So what my plan is to keep the entire or not, I don't know, that's ambitious, but at least keep the DAO layer of that assignment ready. So when we start with web programming, you don't have to worry about data access layer and the database and all. You can focus on web components. Like how you have React components, you have learned React components, services, and whatever. So interceptors and all that, whatever you must have learned in React. Here I'll be showing you the dynamic web components in J2E. So that is where you'll focus on. Anyway, that's a later step. So now I'm just going to give you a verbal requirement and wait for 5 minutes. Which part of CRUD is not done yet? Delete part. So let's see this. I want to delete a particular employee details. Maybe I want to fire a particular employee because of maybe unfortunately budget cut or underperformance and all. So what will be the, okay, so question is delete employee details. So start solving it in a bottoms up manner. Database, change or no change? No change. Pojo, will you need any change in Pojo? Most likely not. So now tell me, give me the DAO interface method. No, Shubham, don't rush to implementation class. First, tell me the interface method. Type it out. See, always you have to think about what is to be done, which is method declaration. Anyone. You'll be adding a method. String delete employee, int employee ID. Perfect. Nidhi, Prashant, fine. I mean, Prashant has given, but anyway, it's fine. Okay. Now think in implementation class. So implementation class, you will add a new PST. So that Shubham had already answered, PST4. What will be the query? Delete query. I think delete query is the easiest of the lot. Delete from whatever. My employee, where employee are equal to question mark. Very right, Nidhi. Then, which is so this is done in the constructor. In the cleanup, close PST4. I'm not solving. I'm giving you 5 minutes to solve it. I'm just I'm just talking about it. And then you write the implementation method. Will you need to set any parameter? Yes. Answer is yes. Come on, there's a question mark here. Employee ID is unknown. So of course you'll have to set one in parameter. What will you use? Execute query or execute update? EQ or EU? What will you use? Of course, execute update, right? And again, you check, you are deleting only one employee details. So check the update count properly and give me the message, employee details deleted or deletion failed. And call that method from the tester and show me. Do you think you can manage it? Start working on it. I'm giving you 5 minutes. 5 minutes, I know it's a short time, but at least start working. I'll join you in 5 minutes. Try it out. Start. So you continue. I'll just join you here. Please add comments. Done. Very good, Sakshi. Keep it up. Great. Excellent. I hope you have tested it also and understood and done it, most importantly for me. Great. Great, Sakshi. So Some more runs. Very good, Ragini. Samiksha. Excellent. Keep it up. Just confirm that you have closed all these prepared statements and all that as a standard programming practice. I can see some of you doing it. Very good, guys. I hope you have tested it also. So your parameter position is 1 and employee ID will be given by tester, and you just have to use the same things. So if you have understood it, you don't have to waste time writing all the stuff all over. So boring. So just check that pst4.execute update. Otherwise, you'll end up having mistakes. Employee details deleted successfully, or here you can say deletion failed. Is that it? pst4, all that. Yeah. And simply call the method. Those who have done it, very good. Others are definitely going to revise it and test it in the lab session. And you just have to call that tester, call the method from the tester. Delete employee details. Okay. So I hope the practice which we have been doing in Core Java of writing longer codes will continue to help you in Advanced Java. That was my main intention, guys, that you should not be scared of writing long codes and, mixing up different classes and all that. That was my main thing. Very good, Abhijit. Very, very good. Everyone who has done it. I may have not taken a name, but I'm really happy that you are coping up so easily and so fluently with JDBC. So, enter employee ID. Okay. And all you have to call is the DAO layer method. Delete employee details. Not next end. And if user gives the wrong one, of course, you will get the deletion failed because update count will be 0. So always try it in both the cases. So if I say this, there's nothing. Oh, unknown column employee ID. Okay, guys, it's good that I make a mistake, so I get a chance to show you the debugging. See, the moment you do this, first thing is you cannot panic. You just read. And here you can see, guys, please pause your coding. I'm trying to tell you how to find the errors fast. So all these are the internal classes. It has hit me here for the first time. So click on this. So now, if the error is on this line, there's something wrong in PST4. So analyze PST4. I know, I've been looking at it. So here, employee underscore ID, the column name was wrong. Are you getting me? Yes, Mohammed. Thanks for saying my piece. So here, delete from employee. I had messed up in the column name. So it becomes so easy. Once you concentrate on that stack trace, things are easy. So let me just run this again. Oh, I've not run stop the earlier one. And here, I made a mistake in the column name. So suppose if I say 1, it says the employee details are gone. And you can see, yes, employee details are gone. Everyone is clear here? Understanding all of it? Most of you have tried. Okay, I won't say most. Some of you have tried and have got the confidence that it is actually working. So I'm going to give you a small task and give you a break of 10 minutes. So what I want to show a report to my manager, and it's an easy one. I discussed it earlier. I want the department-wise average salary. So what I want is here, for example, if I talk in this, so which are the 3 departments I've got? R&D, production, and HR. You might be having something. So I want R&D and the average salary of the employees in this. And so like production and HR. Understood my question? You must have solved all this in database, I'm sure. Yes or no? Okay, so group by. So what will be the query? Tell me the SQL, please. You will require aggregate function of average. Yes, type the query, please. Select query naturally. I'm just discussing verbally, giving you this. No, instead of talking in English, Shubham, type the query. People are typing select query. I want the department-wise average salary. So R&D's, which average salary? So I've got 3 guys. So average the salary and show. So R&D and its average salary. Production and its average salary, and likewise. You understood my question? Okay. So I've got this. Select department ID, average salary from this group by department ID. Very right. You got that? This one, Piyush, I want both. I want the title, department ID, and the average salary. Everyone can manage it now. So what is the output? I want to show the department ID and average salary. So you have given me query perfect. Now tell me, I'm discussing it with you verbally. So tell me, what is it called? Database table. Quickly, fast. Change or no change? No change. Pojo, I'm telling you no change. Will you have to add a new method in the DAO interface? Declaration? Yes. So just give me the method declaration and I'll trust you. Trust you means I'll give you 10 minutes of a break to solve it. Anyone wants to write the method declaration, please give me that. I want Prashant full method declaration, not just the method name. Method declaration includes the return type, the method name, argument, and the throws clause. Okay, throws clause I'll excuse. Throws SQL exception. At least give me what goes in, what comes out, etc. I can't accept your answer. Average salary, string department, string wrong answer, Yogesh. Cannot accept. Try again. List of employees, get details, department ID, wrong, Kunal. Not yet. No. Can you solve it, Aman? Because we had a discussion. Clue is with Aman. He had asked me a question earlier. Can you relate to it? If you remember his question. I hope Aman remembers his own question. Yeah, don't just give me map. Give me the Ankit method declaration and I'll accept it. Map of employees. Map has only one. You've forgotten map already. Map is K comma V, dear. Yes. So what about it? Give me proper answer, guys. First of all, there is no input argument required. Why people are giving me department ID is beyond me. You are just having, okay, look at this. Does your SQL query require any in parameter? No. So why you are giving me input? So first of all, forget about it. I've still not got the map. Yes, Nimish got it fine. Finally, right. Guys, how can you say employee? I want just a department ID and the average of salary. So string comma double. See, it took me so much time to get the answer from you. What will be the string? This one, Nimish? Department name, department name, and the salary will be double. Average salary will be double. Are we understanding it? Everyone? Map of string comma double? Okay. Now, I'll make it more interesting. I want the department names in the same order as they appear. So in short, I want to order. So what will you choose then? This is all revision of core Java, guys. Hardly database. I mean, okay, some part is database, but it is again core Java. Collection framework. Yes, please. Anyone? Impress me with the answer. No. No. Guys, order. Not order by, not required. Linked hash map. Guys, which is the ordered map you have? Hash map is unsorted, unordered. The tree map is sorted map, and linked hash map, what is it called? Remains or retains the order. So I'll accept both the answers. Either you give me linked hash map, I'll say linked hash map best because it will retain the order. Otherwise, you will not get the order if you have a hash map. Understood something? Okay, is it interesting for you to solve? So I'm giving you a break of 10 minutes. I'm not saying you work in the 10 minutes break, at least think about it. And if you want to solve it in those 10 minutes, more than welcome. So let's have an early break and we'll resume at something like 12:46. Well, I mean, in 10 minutes we'll resume. So think it over. You were trying. Was the requirement clear to everyone? So here we wanted to write a department-wise information. So query, I think everyone had got department ID, average salary from this. So once you have got this, then it is obvious that you are getting basically the department ID and this. So this is your string unique ID, which is unique key such as maps key, and this is the value. Has anyone completed? Has anyone tried? Or are you trying it still? Am I audible? Okay, so okay, let's do it together. Maybe you are also taking a break, no problems. So let me close this. As stated, tried or doing it or done it, maybe. Those who have done it, very good. So let's, no changes in the Pojo. Let's do it with a DAO layer. Add a method to display department-wise average salary of the employees. You know, typical group by. So here, as I said, I just twisted it slightly so that if I said any order, I'm not interested in the order, you could have given me a map. I'm sorry, I mean, hash map would be okay. But since we want to order, currently still keep it as a map. You know, map is the interface implemented by all that string comma double. And here you have not display, get, I would say. Get details or get average salary by department. And as I already said, there is no need of input argument. There's no in parameter. It's just a group by. Okay. So once you do this, is everyone clear till the method declaration at least? You understand the justification of a map? Tell me guys, yes or no. Have you understood this? Okay, because it's a two value, of course. I just fix the imports. So rest of the things are now almost the same. So let us add the method here. Get average salary by department. You can add EST5. We already discussed the query. So what all I want to lift is select UPT ID and I'll just copy that so that I don't make a mistake here in the column names and all that, like last time, and waste your time. Okay, select department ID, average salary, all. This looks fine. And now, so this first step is done. Close the prepared statement before we forget. Okay, so PST5 was correct, right? Yeah. So now let us write the method together. So first you have to create the empty map. Map is an interface. So there are three implementation classes: unsorted, unordered map, which is hash map, which is not useful. When I said I wanted to remember, I wanted to maintain the order. So here I'm saying you can go for your ordered variety, which is a subclass of a hash map, which is nothing but a linked hash map. This is irritating every time, but we'll fix it using IDE shortcut in a minute. And now you just have to execute the query. So tell me guys, do I have any in parameters to set before execution of the query, or can I execute the query now? In parameters or no in parameters? There are no input parameters. So we can directly use the execute. We can execute. So which method? Execute update or execute query? Of course it is. Execute update you are saying. Hello. Which is the query you have? Select. What does a select query return? Result set, selected rows and columns. So it is going to be the execute query. Execute query returns a result set, which is auto closable. So you got this result set object. You understood? Execute query for result set returning queries, which is a select query. So result set and RHS is est5 dot execute query. And since there are going to be multiple records, department wise, suppose I've got 10 departments having 10 employees each or whatever employees each, it will return, it will run 10 times. So while rst.next. Yeah. So now tell me the next line. It's not difficult. You just have to. So I'm iterating over the result set. So what should be the next line? Looking at your answer, looking at your response. You just have to populate the map. So which is the method for populating the map? Put is the method. So start. So this is map.put key and a value. So anyone wants to tell me, how will I get this key? That's why I first fire department. Okay, map.put rst.getString. And yes, you're right, Prashant. So see this, that is why I told you to fire the query. So department ID is here as the first column, and this is the second column. So this is the column position as it appears in the result set. So rst.getString, right? Column position 1. And the second is the average salary, rst.getDouble, column position 2. So how many times it will run? Depends on how many departments you have in your table. And then return this populated map to the caller. Understood? This justifies the selection of a map. And then it is just tester is more than easy. So where is our tester? Yeah. So let's add a additional thing here. 5. Display average salary department wise, by department or whatever. Okay. So let's have this case 5. Okay. Now, so all we have to do is call the method DAO dot. What was that? Get selected. No. What was that method name? Get average salary by department. Now tell me, what is it returning? It is a map. So can you use for each on a map? Can I use a higher order function? Of course, yes. So dot for each, and it's a by consumer. So which takes in department ID, which is key. So you can say k comma value, or better is department. You can do whatever. This is just a variable name salary. And here I'm interested in both. So it will be mute all, please. Somebody has unmuted. So I can say the department name plus the average salary. You can format it in whatever manner you want. The department is plus department and the salary, right? Okay. Are we good here? Yes. So instead of saying K comma V, it is the department name and salary. So I just called it accordingly and check if it matches. Lab faculty, somebody please mute on. Somebody is unmuted. And here, 5. And as you can see, it has maintained the order of occurrence because you have got the data. See, this is the data. I mean, I don't know your data. So this is the same table I wanted to show in the same order. So I chose the linked hash map. Clear? Slight variation than your CRUD. Tester you want to see? Tester I just have attached a for each. Just a second. So here, linked hash map is, you can attach a for each to any map, right? A higher order function. K comma V. K is department name, so I just call it as department and salary. Done? Okay, very good. Tell me, has everyone understood it? If not done, has everyone understood? So likewise, so this is nothing to do with Java, to be honest, but more on the database SQL queries and all that. So likewise, whenever we have a particular requirement, we will solve it. So now it's high time we look at the other statement. So I'm just opening our JDBC. Oh, I have opened it, I guess. Yeah. Right. No, this was something else. Okay. So we are talking about now the stored procedure and all that, the remaining part of JDBC. So where are we? Diagrams, JDBC overview. So which are the 2 types of statements we have used so far? Everyone knows the answer. For if you have the empty, if you have non-repetitive and the static queries, you can choose statement. But I told you already, for most of the time, for the regular requirements, 90% of your requirements, you will end up using a pre-parsed, pre-compiled statement. But now if you have a special requirement, if you have got a business logic already stored in database in form of a stored procedure or a stored function, you can't use any of the earlier API. You have a special type of a statement for this called as callable statement. So that we are learning, and that to give you the idea about how to execute the stored procedure. So use case is very easy, very simple. For executing, anytime you have to execute stored procedure or a function, you will use callable statement. So now look up the Java docs. And here I'm opening this. And here you can search for first, or you can look up here. So java.sql.statement. So this statement interface is the super interface. I'm telling you that statement, prepared statement and callable statement are related. So which is the super interface statement? What is it extended by? Prepared statement. So prepared statement is a sub interface of statement, and now prepared statement is further extended by callable statement. Is the hierarchy clear? ST extended by statement, extended by prepared statement, extended by callable statement. But now, where are all these methods for creating different type of statements? Answer is in java.sql.connection. So connection interface has got a method create statement to create a ordinary statement object, empty statement object, which is the method we use for creating PST, which was the method we have been using throughout the day for creating a prepared statement. Prepare statement is the method. And now you have a third method, prepare call. So in the connection interface, you can look for a method, prepare call. So it will tell you creates a callable statement object for calling database stored procedure, and stored function is just a specialized form of a stored procedure. So click on this, and it will tell you all this. So creates all of it for calling the stored procedure, and this object will provide the method for naturally setting up in parameters. because callable statement extends from prepared statement. So setting in parameter is the same. But I hope you know there is a concept of a out parameter also in a stored procedure. So tell me, what is it which you store in the out parameters? Everyone must be knowing in, out and in out parameter. What is it we store in the out parameter? I'm talking about database, stored procedure, out parameter. No answer? The output, exactly. The results, exactly. The better answer is result. The procedure does not return anything to the caller. Function returns. So the result of this, you store it in the out parameter. Everyone knows that. And here, the all optimization and everything is done. So now let me take you step by step. So first I'll give you, I could have asked you to create a stored procedure, but I'm giving that in a ready-made manner. So first let me ask you to copy that stored procedure. Open your day one data, day one help, JDBC help. I'm giving you the stored procedure directly. Open this SQL and you will find SQL commands. Reach here, everyone. Those who are not doing it, please remember all this and do it. So here you search for accounts table. Search for accounts, not bank accounts. Sorry, there is a, this I'm not using here. Look for, I'll tell you another one. Okay, so you can look for, there's a table called as only accounts. Bank accounts, that is a link table to customers and all that we are not using. So it's a easy one. Create table accounts. This is your account ID, account number, auto increment primary key, customer name, account holder name, account type, and account balance. And I have also populated it with 2 records. So first, copy this. Copy it into your database. And just check whether you got a accounts table here. Done this? Because I'm working on that transfer funds kind of a procedure. So now you don't have to say drop procedure transfer funds because you don't have. If you had, I would have asked you. So now everyone, I take it, that knows the syntax of what is it, stored procedure. What is it I'm doing here? Changing the delimiter from semicolon to $2. I mean, any delimiter changing. This is for creating. I could have said create or replace. I'm saying here create procedure. What is the name of the procedure? Transfer funds. Okay, transfer funds from source to destination. That is all it is doing. How many parameters I'm passing to this stored procedure? 5. No. I mean total number of parameters I'm asking you. Out of them, how many are in parameters? 3. Which are the inputs? Standard source account ID, from where to withdraw, destination account ID, and the transfer amount. Keeping the procedure simple. And here, when you say out parameter, you already told me, whatever is the result of that stored procedure, I'm storing it here. Clear about the argument list, parameter list? Now, these 2 queries are, I'm not putting it in the transaction. Transactions we can handle later. So, because of course, if the source account updation fails, you don't want it. So that right now, let's not worry about it. So here, update accounts. So here I'm withdrawing from source, depositing in the destination account. Okay. Now tell me what I'm doing here. I'm reading the updated source balance and putting it in SBAL, reading the updated whatever destination balance and putting it in DBAL. So what will these 2 out parameters will give me? Updated source balance and updated destination balance, ending it procedure and changing the delimiter back. Is the stored procedure simple enough for everyone? Clear? Okay, so now copy that and we'll paste it. Copy from delimiters, you know that. So copy the whole thing, go here and paste it. You should not get any, I've tested, tried and tested. So you should not get any compiler errors and all that. Done? You let me know whenever you are done. Those who are not doing now, please do it in the lab and test it. So now our job starts. What is our job? Here you have got an existing, tables, data, and stored procedure. I'm just going to show you how to invoke it from JDBC. So which statement are we going to use? Statement, prepare statement, or callable statement? Callable statement. Okay, so let me show you the steps one by one. I'll discuss the step and we'll call it. So here, this is the execution of the stored procedure. But before that, let's follow the protocol. The moment I add a new table, what is the object representation of database table? What is the table represented by Pojo? So let's create an account Pojo. Am I going to really require it for this assignment? No, but let me give you practice. So copy that. You know how to create a Pojo. This requirement, this assignment doesn't require it, but I'm just keeping the pattern same. So here, let's create a Pojo here, additional. I can call it as bank account or account or whatever. And so that, you know, before you start solving today's assignment, you'll have enough practice. And as a suggestion, keep the same sequence. Account number. I'm going to show you that this thing, you know, enums and all that, but with Hibernate. With JDBC, we'll simply keep it as string account type. And and as a Pojo specification, give the default constructor. Whatever else we require, we will add it later. And generate all getters and setters. Again, I'm saying, is this requirement going to really require on Pojo? Not, but again, keeping the pattern same. And I'm generating the toString, which has all the regular details. So finish Pojo fast. Yes, Abhijit. You have the table. I have given you the table. So all I typed was the data members only. Okay, so these are the data members. Everything else I generated, including the default constructor, getters, setters, and toString. So I hope you are done. Now, which is the layer above the Pojo? DAO. So tell me, the DAO layer, should I mix it up, this account handling business, should I mix it up in the employee DAO, or should we have a separate DAO managing accounts? Everyone understands it from the tone of the question, I hope. So here, let's add another DAO. Of course, start with the interface. And you know the naming pattern, I account DAO. And here, let us add the method. Add a method to transfer from source to destination account. So I'll always give you time for important things. So anyone wants to give me the method declaration. This method is going to be called from tester, as you know. So I'll give you a minute. Give me the method declaration, including the name. Name, you can say transfer funds. What goes in, what comes out, kinds. Inputs, I think anyone can guess. Anyway, I'll give you time. Give me the method. Return type can be as easy as string. Transfer funds, arguments, source account. Yeah, and the amount. Yes, we've been writing it all the time. So int source account number, source whatever. Okay, source account number. Then I can have the destination account number. Same old things. The thing is, we are doing it with a database this time. And the transfer amount. Okay, and we are not handling the exceptions here. So throws SQL exception. Is the till the interface, are you clear? Standard one. Done. Okay. So now, just writing the interface is not sufficient. So here we are writing a separate DAO class. I mean, we're not mixing up anything with employee. So start writing as a more practice account DAO IMPL, and it is going to implement your I account DAO interface. So start with a fresh so that you get more and more practice. Account DAO implementation class. Start with the it's a object oriented, so data first. Anyone wants to tell me what should be the state? What should be the data members? We just written one DAO layer recently, so I think yes, everything starts with the connection. So start with the connection, and if you want as my standard tip, you can say java.sql.start and connection. Now tell me, which type of a statement are we going to create? ST, PST or CST? Everyone knows the answer. Callable statement. So guys, here I'm solving a stored procedure with you in the theory session. And as a lab exercise, I'm going to ask you to execute the stored function. You know our pattern. I do something, you do something, guys. So in short, private and on the same table, same this. So you can have callable statement. I'll just start it with CST1. And here, let's write the constructor part. So this is all I'm going to require here currently. Let's write a default constructor. It's not a method. So here, get the database connection from dbutils. I'm insisting that comment your code, because the moment next time you are reading it, you realize what is happening. So import static and all that. And here, open connection. And who is going to call this constructor? A tester. I'm not going to merge it with that tester. We'll write a separate tester for funds transfer, checking the stored procedure. So I don't want to handle it here. So include throws. Okay. Now till now it was all the same, other than the variable type of callable statement. But now you have to learn the API. So I'm waiting till you finish this much. So we are going to call, of course, we are going to create a callable statement, and method name is prepare call. But guys, that alone won't help you. So see this. In connection, we talked about prepare call. And in this prepare call, there are overloaded methods. So you can search for prepare call, which has only the string SQL. So you will say, okay, what now you are not writing any what is it, DML, DDL and all. What is the query you want to write is just for execution of calling, not execution, invocation of stored procedure. So they have given you everything. You just have to read the Java docs as always. So if you click on this return type, it will tell you the full details. JDBC API provides all that. And very importantly, it will tell you how to call this. So apply your database sense. They have given you two syntaxes. So can you tell me, I'll call it as first one and a second one. Which one will you use for stored procedure, first or second? Because that will tell me your understanding about database. I said, I have given you the stored procedure. So which one will you, do you think you will use? The first or second? Second is a correct answer because everyone knows the function is the one which returns the, what do you say, result to the caller and all that. So you are right. So now see, this is the syntax. So I have, you keep the things on the Java docs. I have written it in a simpler manner. So here, read the step. Create a callable statement from database connection. What it implies is callable statement is a prepared statement, so represents pre-parsed and pre-compiled statement. So what is the API? That is what I showed you. Prepare call and string SQL. So if you are calling a procedure, you have this syntax. It's a string. So within the quotes, these pair of curly braces, I'll tell you the significance in a minute. And here you have to simply use a keyword call followed by the name of the procedure and followed by the parameters. But before we write anything else, people ask you, what is the significance? What is the meaning of these curly braces? These are called as escape sequence. This is nothing but an escape sequence. Who is going to read it? JDBC driver. And what is the job of a JDBC driver? To call the stored procedure as per the database specific format. So these are used as these curly braces are going to be used by the JDBC driver to call the particular stored procedure in a database specific manner. So these are compulsory to use. Otherwise, you will have a SQL exception. And I think rest of the syntax should be fine. So now let's discuss it verbally and then write it. So you can keep, you can keep this Java docs in front of you. And now I'll open my stored procedure. So within the curly braces, call, and what is the procedure name? Transfer fund. Everyone gets me? Now, how many question marks will you add there for the invocation? Count and tell me. Again, answer is wrong. It is 5. 0 is out of bounds, out of question. How can it be 0? Guys, in parameter as well as out parameters are nothing but the placeholders. So whether it is an in parameter, whether it is an out parameter, or whether it is your in-out parameter where you can supply the data and store the results, all are represented by question marks. Okay, so the answer is count is 5. So come to the code and let's start writing. So here you are creating a callable statement to represent the, what is it called? To represent the invocation, to wrap the invocation of a stored procedure, which is already existed in a pre-parsed, pre-compiled manner on the database. So CST1 is equal to, here, RHS is cn dot prepare call. And this is where you have to be careful. So this is nothing but the invocation syntax of a stored procedure, which is for the escape sequence to be interpreted by JDBC driver, wrap it in the curly braces. And I'm not saying a word of my own, you know that. Everything I've taken it from the Java docs. So now you start with, don't make spelling mistakes, call and the procedure name. So that is your transfer funds. Do it systematically. You won't feel confused. And these are your parentheses. And since there are totally 5, right? 5 arguments, 3 in parameters and 2 out parameters. You are having this 5 question marks, and then give a SOP. If all is well, then you can say that whatever account DAO created. Understood so far? Within the pair of curly braces, which are meant as the JDBC escape sequence for the driver, call followed by the name of the procedure, and all those in, out parameters, all represented by question mark. Done? Can I proceed? Okay. So now tell me, are there any in parameters out of these 5? Answer is yes. So what is it you'll have to do with the in parameters? You'll have to set those values, so you'll have to say set in parameters. So I have a small question. Can you do this setting of in parameters right in the constructor? It's a Boolean question, yes or no? I'll repeat. Can you do the setting of in parameters in the constructor? Yes or no? 100% no. Why? Because your tester is going to call this constructor right in the beginning phase, launching phase of the application, where client has not yet come in. Client has not yet sent the request. So how will I know anything without the client? So answer is no. So where we will do the setting of in parameters? Anyone? Where will you do the setting of in parameters? In the CRUD method, in the method, or in the constructor, or in the cleanup? In the CRUD style method, that execution style method. Got it? Now, so the go sequentially. I've written, by the way, all of this in complete detail in my README JDBC. So I have not even mentioned that. But here, there is an additional step. What is that additional step? Whenever you are dealing with any out parameter is the one where you will store the result of stored functions, stored procedures, whatever. So you have to do the additional step of registering out parameter. So the method name itself is register out parameter, but you understand the meaning. So when you say I'm registering the out parameter, who are you informing? What are you informing? What is that information? You are informing the JVM that after the stored procedure is executed, after the stored function is executed, this will be the JDBC data type of the out parameter. So if you don't register the out parameter, if you forget this step, at the time of execution, 100% you will get a SQL exception. So see the steps properly. We have created your callable statement instance. And now, before you say execute, you will have to register. You don't have to set set in parameters is of course there, but you have to register the out parameters. If you don't do that, just comment that and you'll see an SQL exception. Okay, so now look at the API. So there is a method. It is a method of a callable statement. It is not inherited from prepared statement. Prepared statement can support only in parameters. This is typically required for out parameter. What is the method name? Register out parameter. And what are the 2 arguments it is taking? Int parameter position and int JDBC data type. So anyone wants to tell me how many times you will have to call, or okay, how many times you'll have to call register out parameter for this procedure? I hope my question is clear. 2 times, very right. So I'll talk in code. CST1 dot register out parameter. Can you tell me the parameter position? The first argument is parameter position. What will be that? Yes, 4. So I think everyone got it so far. But what is not clear, what may not be clear to you is, what is that second argument, JDBC type? So for that, I required Java docs. So you are here in callable statement. Look for a method, register. They give you all everything. See this. The type of all out parameters must be registered prior to execution of the state procedure. Otherwise, the whole thing will fail. Okay. So now look for a method, register. Just a second. Out parameter. There are so many overloaded ones. So to take a look at the first one in parameter position, parameter index, and the SQL type. So here you are giving the ordinal position starts from 1 to n. And the second one is, now read the second one. This is that JDBC type code, which is defined in a special class called as types. In short, guys, just understand the last part. We are almost like coming to the end. So you are not supposed to remember that double is, let's say, number 1 or integer is 2 or whatever. So there is a class, I'll show you in a minute, java.sql.types. And this types class has all these public static final constants. So I already said parameter position 1, 2, 3, 4 onwards. And now you open the types class. Look for types. You'll see java.sql.types. There are very few classes in JDBC java.sql package. This is one of it. Read the description. What is it going to hold? It is just going to hold the constants, which are nothing but your generic SQL types is equal to JDBC types. And this is never instantiated. Later, they could have converted into interface. So now if you scroll, there are all these types which are already present, which are considered as the generic SQL type or is equal to JDBC type. So if you see here, if you scroll here, you will find a constant by the name double. Why I'm using double? Because my salary type in that account, not salary, sorry, balance. I got confused. So the balance, account balance is double. So here it tells you the constant in Java programming with the type double. So now put things together and identify it. So how will you call this method? cst1.registerout parameter. What will be the parameter position? Placeholder index, parameter index 4. And anyone wants to tell me what will be the value of the second argument? You can't say double directly. It's a constant. I mean, either you say import static or simply say types.double. You got me? And how will you configure? How will you register that second out parameter? Same. So cst1 dot register out parameter. What will be the parameter position now? 5. And the data type will be types.double. Understood me so far? Clear about registering the out parameter? Okay. So I have a small question. Open the DAO layer and tell me, from where should I register the out parameter? Your choices are constructor, method, or the cleanup. I got the answer as method. So tell me, guys, is the registering the out parameter, the placeholder position and the type, is it going to change? Is it coming from the user? Is user involved in that? Or is it going to be fixed as far as the procedure is fixed? Then why you are telling me something? See, it will work if you call it in register out parameter, but after user sends a request, and if you are solving unnecessary logic, your response will be delayed. So in short, let me talk in simple English. Can I do the registering of out parameter right in the constructor? Answer is yes. Because the moment you finalize that this is the procedure, I know which parameters are out and I know the data types. Are we clear? So now add the next one, register out parameters. Is the thinking clear? Setting of in parameters, I can never do it in the constructor because they are user dependent. But registering out parameter is not user dependent at all. So I'm doing it right here. To optimize the performance. Exactly once it will get called. And now you know the API. I'll write it here for your reference. API of callable statement, public void. The name of the method itself is register out parameter. Later, when you are playing with the code in the lab, comment this and 100% you will get an exception. Register out parameter. You cannot call the procedure before that. Okay, and here you have the what is it called? Parameter position, which is counted from 1 to n, left to right, and the JDBC type, which is also called as generic SQL type, and throws SQL exception. Okay, so now, so you just have to use it. CST1 dot method name is register out parameter. Everything is with respect to my procedure. So 4, and here I just now showed you. Please use the constants which are mentioned into that double. And in a very similar manner, register the 5th next out parameter in this manner. I'll wait. Understood also? So what all things are done so far? We have established a connection to the database. From the connection, we have created a pre-parsed, pre-compiled callable statement, which extends from prepared statement. And since I know my procedure well, I have also registered the out parameters. Okay, so before we go here, let's add, okay, towards the end, I will add a cleanup. Add a method. Do it systematically. I'm telling you will not make errors. Add a method to clean up database resources. Without that, it's not I mean, you should not keep the database connections hanging open. And always first close those statements. Do the null check. Otherwise, you will get into null pointer if things are not working fine. Okay. And delegate. This is pretty standard. Finish the cleaning up of resources, closing of resources. And I can give a message here. I mean, all the resources from account DAO, database resources closed. Understood so far? All clear? Okay. So now tell me, what is the, so okay, who is going to call this method? Of course, tester. When in the servicing phase, when user says, okay, I want to transfer my funds from this account to this account, user is involved. So anyone wants to tell me, can I directly execute the stored procedure, or do we have to set the in parameters first? Everyone knows the answer by now. Of course, you have to set the in parameters. Otherwise, again, it will fail. Set in parameters. Otherwise, how will you pass these source numbers and all that to the query? So, no new API. I hope you are understanding. Callable statement is a prepared statement and something more sub interface. So the same thing. Set my account number is integer. Set in 1, source account number. The next one, are you understanding the numbers? So 1, 2, 3 first in parameters. So this is your not a column position. This is your question mark position, placeholder position, parameter position. Set what was that? Int again. Second is destination account. Right? If you are not understanding it, please keep this stored procedure open. I'm setting the values of first 3 in parameters. we have already registered the data type of out parameter. So that is what is happening. So here, and then you have the transfer, amount to be injected. Set double, parameter position is 3 and the amount. So this is where your setting in parameters is done. So your callable statement is ready. You have registered its out parameter. Now you have set the in parameters also. Getting it? So now, are we ready to execute the stored procedure? Have you done all the, setup, initial setup? Done. So now, if you open the JDBC overview, you will see that we were using execute query for a DQL, select. For DDLs and DMLs, we were using execute update. So here is the third method, execute. So again, data is overloaded. So which one should I use for callable statement? The first one or the second one? Which one should I use? Answer is the first one, because callable statement is already holding that procedure call, that invocation. So here, of course, it is the first one. It returns you the boolean, but this boolean has no significance in while calling the stored procedure and the function. So we will use the execute method. So here, add the comment, execute stored procedure. And here the method name is public boolean execute. But like I said, ignore the return type. It doesn't give you any information. So all I'm saying is execute. So here, if you survive this, that means you are from the, from the Java front end, it has gone to database driver, JDBC driver, and it has been executed on the database. Now tell me, what is the last thing? We did this execution of the stored procedure to see those results. So what will be the last step here? Get the results. So where are the results? Are they stored in parameters or out parameters? Of course, they are results and out parameters. So look at the last line, last API. So we have done the execution here. Now we want to retrieve the results which are stored in out parameter. So this is the method of your callable statement. And what is the method? They're similarly written for your result set. So method is get type. But are you going to actually see the method such as get type? No, there's no type. So you'll have get int, get boolean, get double, get array, etc. And what is it you pass here? Guys, beginner get confused between RST's result set getters and callable statements getter. Anyone wants to tell me what is it you are giving for result set getters? Yeah, here it is fine. Abhijit, your answer is right, but I'm still asking you a question. What is it we used to give for result set getter? The column position as it appears in the result set. Whereas here you are giving those question mark position, the position of the out parameter. So you're absolutely right. It will be 4 for updated, which balance? I think source balance. Yeah. So it will be SBAL, the fourth position, updated source balance, updated destination balance here. So let us just get it here. And I will just form the string out of it. So I'll say updated source balance. And how do I get this? Already somebody has given me the answer. CST1 dot get balance is double. So double, and nothing to do with the column position, everything to do with the out parameter position, which is 4. And then I can combine it into destination balance. And here, just to show you that we are actually accessing the results, CST1 dot get double, parameter position is 5. So this finishes your all the parts of DAO layer. So now I'm just going to invest a minute to write the tester and stop right here. but you take your time. So callable statement was created, registering of the out parameter was done, setting of the inputs was done. We executed the procedure and got the results. Understood it? So source balance and the destination balance. So let's already people have dropped off. So let me write quickly a tester. Test it. I'm not adding in that bigger tester. I am writing it in separate manner. So you can of course test it more leisurely in your lab session. So here test stored procedure. And like I said, I'm going to give you an assignment today to test the stored function. So let us do it. Let me do it a little faster, looking at time. There's no while, there's nothing. Let's keep it simple. Of course, I require scanner because I'm going to take the inputs in parameters. And a catch-all block. This last part, if you want a revision, of course, I'll give you a revision, but in the lab session now. So here, create DAO instance. Okay. So which DAO now? Account DAO. Account DAO implementation done. And now you accept the inputs from the user. Enter source, destination account numbers and the amount. And once you have done that, all you have to do is call the method and display the result. So DAO dot, what is the method name? Transfer funds. And here, next end, account numbers are integers. And the amount is double. And without fail, call the cleanup. This is a simple tester I was talking about yesterday. So there's no big test at all. This is enough for checking whether your DAO layer, your Pojo I have not used in this example, but the database is working fine. So I think we are done here. Created the instance, taking this. So let us just check it here. First check, these are my original values. So I've not got any limits or, any triggers. I've not put any triggers on updates. So anything. So let's say 2 to 100, something. Try. So I want to, as you can see, account DAO is created. So there's nothing wrong in the initial part of this. So suppose I say 2 to 1 and 100. So as you can see, the updated balance looks fine, but you should be trying it on the tester. I'm sorry, the database, I mean. So just to check, yeah. So the funds are updated from 20, it was earlier 2,500 and whatever. So it is working fine. So I'm stopping here right away, but not before asking you a question. Is it clear at least? I'm not asking you whether you finished it or not. Did you understand the working of it, the steps involved in execution of the stored procedure? And like I said, I'll take it in a slower manner, the revision, if you want in the lab session. And then you are going to solve the requirement for execution of the stored function. Yes, Omkar, I always do that. I'll always upload it on this. You want it right away? Okay, I'll give you right away. I was anyway do it on the Google Drive. Anyway, if you want it right away, I'll give you right away. What was it? Okay, this is Java EE workspace. Date 2.1. Yeah. So I'll be collating all this data and as usual, putting it in Google Drive in some time. So date 2.1. Okay, so this is all. So As always, if it is working, very good, Girish. Glad to know. So here you go through the whole revision. The CRUD, first part we did was CRUD. Then I gave you just some extra this thing to do the group by and all, and how you represent it in the map kinds. And then towards the end, I showed you how to execute the stored procedure. So revise all of that. Have your questions, concerns, doubts ready. And when I join in, we can discuss all these, this part, revision part, or whatever questions you have. And then we'll discuss the fresh assignment. That will be all. See you in the labs.